Hi guys, my name is Ivo and I'm from mytestedasp.net. It's time for the next part in my current video series about clean and testable C# code. We are going to talk about system resources and how we can assert them in this particular lesson. Before we go to Visual Studio, I would like to remind you, if you haven't done it already, please turn on the bell notifications of my channel because you don't want to miss any of my future videos. Thank you. Now let's go to the code. As you know, we're uh, coding an application which already is not using the best practices possible and has some sort of solid violations. It has some fixed dependencies which make the code quite a lot difficult to test. So we try to refactor it and improve it, and in the current video I will assert the following method. It's in the article service, the change visibility method. Essentially, this method finds an article by ID, then makes the article public or not public depending on the previous state, and if the article was not published before, it sets the current date time to this property. So we need to assert first the is public, whether it's changed, and then to assert whether the published on is the current date time. Essentially, this is a system resource and it's written in a way that's difficult to test. We are using the system resource from a static property, sorry, which is a fixed dependency. So we need to change that. But first, let's write our test. I'm going to open article service test and I'm going to add a new test method. Public async task change visibility should set correct published on date. Of course, I would need to write a test whether uh, an article which does not exist returns and changes nothing, and that does not throw, but I'm going to skip it because in the current example we don't need to assert that logic. I'm going to only assert the published on and the is public properties. Okay, first I'll need to arrange, and I just need the article service, which, as you already know from my previous lessons about this topic, from this video series, we have a method which provides that for us. Change visibility. Then I would need to act and I would need to call the method with ID1 because this article has is public false and no published on, so it will be perfect for our assertions. Var await article service dot change visibility 1, and then I will need to assert. I will need to get the database, which unfortunately I don't have access to here, so I would need to extract it. I'm going to write it like this for now. Private I'm going to use a better approach. I'm going to create common folder, what I can do is I can say, okay, I would like to have a block db context here, db, and I can say something like this.db equals that, this.db, what, yeah, okay, cool. Fake block db context, like this, and call this here too. And then I can say something like this.db.articles and so on, data.articles and so on. This works great, but most probably in my application I would need to assert different kind of services which are using the database. So it's better to provide a faster way to access the database. So I'm going to make a base class test with data, which is just a public abstract class, which will have the fake block DB context as a property. Test with data will initialize that. Okay, let's make it protected because I'm having an abstract class here, and I'm going to say that this dot database equals new fake block db context with I don't have the data. Okay, let's do it like that. It won't work. Protected async task get database string name, and I'm going to size database like this. Then I'm going to say protected fake db context database like this, and here I'm going to initialize the database name like this. So I'm going to initialize the fake block db context, then I'm going to call add fake articles. This method can be made static, so let's do it. And I'm going to have a property database which I can reuse. So I'm going to say await this dot initialize database, but first I would need to inherit tests with data. Test with data from here, and initialize database with the database name, and I can code the database data like this. So I successfully extracted the database functionality to a base class, and this allows me to have different kind of service test classes which are going to reuse the database. It's very convenient. So this database, not sure whether I would need it like that. I can do it like that. Database. Okay, what we need to assert right now is to find the first article, because I'm using I want to assert the first article, and because I don't want to repeat the same magic number, I'm going to use const int article id equals 1 so that it will be reused. And what I need to do is I need to assert that the article is not null. Then I need to assert that the article is public set to true, and last but not least, I will need to assert that the published on is the current date, which unfortunately I cannot do with the current logic because it is a static property and that's not testable. Let's see whether everything works correctly. The test passes, which is great. So what we need to do is to somehow remove the fixed dependency to the datetime system resource and improve it so that this code becomes testable. But before that, I would like to show you where you can find the sample code I am using in my lesson. Go to my GitHub profile, Ivail Kenuf. You may follow me if you like. Go to repositories, write down TV, and this is the repository in which I am uploading all my video lessons and all the source code which is used in them. You can find the source code from every single lesson I upload to YouTube. And of course, the rules for the testable C# code design is here too, so you can download the code. It's before we started refactoring it and after we refactored it. I would be extremely thankful if you decide to give this project a star. You may also watch it because usually I upload the code and the video links here before I make them public on YouTube, so you may find a video which is not yet published. I will use this moment to thank my sponsors. That's Bellatrix, ReSharper, Softuni, Smart IT, Nobahar, and 1-Bit Software. Guys, you truly rock. Thank you for supporting my channel and my open source projects. Keep up being great. Let's get back to the code and let's improve the datetime code here. We already know how to improve that. We need to add a new service which is called iDateTime service. And this datetime service will provide us with a single method called now, and I'm going to write the implementation here. I'm currently improving the design of my code. Instead of using fixed dependencies, I'm using abstractions, which is always better, and they are replaceable and they're easily testable. The design is cleaner this way. The implementation is very, very simple. We will just say that we are going to use UTC now from here. And then my article service is going to inject the iDateTime service, and it's going to use it here in a more abstract and replaceable way. This way, my code is completely testable. What I need to do before I get back to the test is I need to register that service and say at transient iDateTime service should be mapped to datetime service like this. Great. Okay, returning to the tests, I can now create a fake datetime service, fake datetime service, which will just return a fixed date, which of course is easier to assert. Imagine that we had a logic which shows different result in the morning and different result in the evening during the day. It will be very difficult to assert that, because if you write two tests, one to assert the morning and one to assert the evening case, you will need to run your morning test only in the morning and your evening test only in the evening if you cannot replace the datetime now call. So essentially, this is why we replaced it, so that we can fake it and provide a morning datetime if we need, or an evening datetime if we need. Okay, I would need to pass a new fake datetime service here so that the article service can be instantiated, and what I need to validate is that the expected datetime is the one here, and the article.published on should be like that. Okay, I'm running all of my tests, and if everything passes, we are great, we can finish this lesson. No, it does not. Let me see. Yeah, my date is wrong because the year is the first and then the month. So let's fix that stupid bug and try again. Everything works. Great, guys. Hope you found this video useful. And before we before we end the lesson, I would like to show you my open source projects. You can find them in my GitHub profile. They're about asserting and testing ASP.NET, whether the old Web API or the new ASP.NET Core. These projects are quite huge and I'm writing them in my free time. They allow you to create very fast integration or unit tests for your application. You can assert routes, controllers, services, basically everything. So what I'm doing is I'm accepting backers or sponsors on Patreon, Open Collective, PayPal, or Buy Me a Coffee. So if your company is interested in sponsoring this channel or these projects, let me know. And also you may support me as an individual too. I will be extremely thankful. Every little support counts. Even a single star on my project is more than welcome. Thank you guys, and if you like this series, make sure you hit the like button and don't forget to comment down below whether you are learning something new from my channel. Thank you. Bye.